Hey, there you are. PCL, what's up? It's now Thursday. Just tucked the wife into bed. Uh, August 21st. I'll run you through a few things so you understand what I'm talking about. I went to that doctor appointment last night and did the I don't know what you call it, the intro or whatever. He asks what's going on with you. Are you a good candidate for his program? Then he tells you about the program. Then he leaves the room. The office girl comes in and gives you the prices for the program, the different options and the pricing. Then she left and let me and the wife decide what's going on. And I look at it this way: we chose to do the decompression and the laser application. It's going to be 24 visits, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for 8 weeks. I started last night, and I'll tell you, that laser thing feels fantastic. It causes it starts and produces the reversing of the inflammation of the disc. And then I go from that table to another table where they strap me all down. This thing that comes up from underneath me around my hips to a strap that goes to a computer that pulls and, pulls and contracts. It allows your back to spread. And he said, I asked him before I saw the thing, I said, is it like inversion, like a teeter? He said, that's traction and you should never do that because when you're upside down, it's pulling all your spine too much, too far. I know I got buddies that have bad backs that have teeter hang-ups or whatever you call it, and they swear by them. They said, but I imagine this guy's got his own program. You can't just go buy this computerized decompression machine. So, of course, he's probably going to be biased toward his machine over something you can do at home. Doesn't matter whether I went to a surgeon's office or a different orthopedic type doctor. This guy is he's primarily a chiropractor, but he is also a sports medicine physician. Does it say doctor? See, it does. On his card here, does it say doctor something? No, it doesn't. It says Keith Gilbert, DC, CCSP, certified chiropractic sports physician. So he's not an orthopedic doctor. So we hemmed and hawed and thought it over. $1,700, $1,300 and change just for the decompression, or you can do decompression and laser for 17. And the wife's, at first she was like, so that's a lot of money. And I'm like, listen, if we went to an orthopedic doctor, he's going to send me to physical therapy. Therapy is going to do traction. Therapy is also going to run you through different stretches and exercises to move the disc away from the nerve in your spine, so it's not putting the pressure on. If it doesn't get better, they'll then try medication and exercise. You got to jump through 10 hoops before you get an MRI and the surgeon says you need surgery. Although that is absolutely against. I told the last doctor I was not going to let him back in there, so he better do everything he needs to do because I wasn't going to let him back in there. I suffered for 5 days with that sciatic thing through my butt cheek, down my leg. It was getting just past my knee. It was making its way all the way down. And and if you haven't experienced it, it's like a toothache, right? It's like a really bad toothache. Nothing you do. You can put a little Oragel in there, and it might make it a little better, but the pain never goes away. That's how this is. You can lean one way or lean the other and find a happy spot where the spine isn't zinging you anymore, but that butt cheek leg thing's just it's such an irritation. Brent knows what I'm saying. It's miserable. It's absolute misery. So we're there. We decided, and I told her, I said, listen, if I have to have surgery, our insurance, because our insurance won't cover this, of course. They don't cover anything chiropractic. We have surgery, our insurance will cover 80%. The 20% that's going to be our portion is going to be 10 times the amount of $1,700. It's going to be $17,000, maybe $25,000. You know, it's going to be a huge chunk of dough. I said, so for $1,700, let's give it a shot. It's not invasive. And look at me, I'm not wearing a belt. I'm doing ice pack. I got to wait 2.5 to 3 hours between, to make sure that the skin is is right back to room temperature or body temperature. Because right now I was off it 30 minutes ago and my skin is still freezing cold. So I have ice pack for 30 to 45 minutes, take it off, a couple of hours, go back to it again. So I just put it right inside the belt so it stays right on my lower spine. I'm going to show you some things here. I've got a spine little graph here. Tells you all about the spine, right? The red is the cervical spine. As you see here, that's all up in your neck. This is the middle of your back. They call it thoracic spine. It tells you what all of these different vertebrae, what parts of your body it affects, right? Maybe I'll put a link to this if I still have it in the video and you guys can check it out. Well, here we are. The purple, blue is the lumbar. Okay, the lumbar spine. Then you have your hip or pelvis, which is your sacrum. And then you got this coccyx, which is your tailbone. And it tells you what parts are affected. Obviously, tailbone, rectum, anus, your pelvis, hip bones, buttocks. So you got this little disc here between number 5, L5, and L4, which I am fused here. This disc does not exist in me, and there's a metal cage here with a pin that locks it in. And I'll show you that on the x-ray in just a minute. But you see the L5, lower back, buttock, thighs, legs, feet, sciatic nerve, large intestine. L4, prostate gland, lower back. Right? So, we know it's not coming from here. This disc doesn't exist. It can't be pushing on anything and putting pressure on any nerve. So it's either this one or it would be this one. And L3, between L3 and L4, says sex organs, uterus, bladder, knees. I'm guessing the problem is here because of what it controls and the sciatic nerve, the problems I'm having. So let's go over to the x-ray, and this section here, right here, this V-shaped section here is going to be that final disc between the pelvis and your L5. Right, I got a screw in the L5, I got a screw in the L4. This is the wire basket, and then it's got this thing that looks like a nail that goes inside, and it clicks in. The metal is recessed here. Oh, sorry, the metal is recessed here, and they have to pound that thing in to spread it out. So right now, this is a 2.5-year-old X-ray. This probably is all bone, but still, you see, this is an X-ray. You know these screws are on the other side. This is looking in from my right. The screws are both in the left side of my spine. So you can see screw, but it's not covered over with bone. So this isn't. You have to have an MRI to see if this is completely filled in with bone, and by now it certainly is. 8 weeks, you're going to have bone covering this, just like you would if you broke your femur and had it reset. Had maybe a plate and a couple of screws to hold it together till it healed. In 8 weeks, you'd be probably on a soft cast, a Velcro cast, right? And crutches. 12 weeks, you'd probably be on something maybe a little less than that, maybe a compression leg sock or something or another. But you see how easy it is to see that this might be a problem because it's a V-shaped area. Back to the other picture. Seeing that this could be a problem down there. Look, even in this picture, it's a wedge. You see part of that disc right here. And if there becomes, from shoveling dirt, not choking up on the handle, holding the handle way too far at the end with both hands, and just trying to put the dirt in, lifting up those rocks, right? That without being able to choke up, you got all that weight you're trying to hold with that long lever, and it's pulling on your arms, it's pulling on your abdominals, and everything that happens here also happens back here. I learned that a long time ago too. So we signed up for the program, and we had our first go, and I'm telling you, that laser is just fantastic. I walked in with the big belt that they gave me when I had the fusion surgery. That thing is solid plastic in the back. It's got two rings you put your thumbs through, and you pull, and it works in an X pattern, and you can take the air and life right out of somebody with that thing. But it supports the daylights out of you when you're weak. I walked in wearing it. I walked out without it. No leg pain, no more sciatic pain. One trip, no more sciatic pain. Praise the Lord. I prayed to God that He'd heal me. You know me, folks. You know I am the biggest believer in everything happens for a reason. If you've ever read the book of Job, didn't make any sense what happened to that guy, why he had to suffer all those things. Loss of all of his children. Loss of a bunch of his livestock and money, his social position, his own friends telling him he must have done some awful sin, that he needs to repent for his sins, and he just sat there and took all this negativeness, and he had the boils covering his body. His wife told him to just curse God and die, that whatever he's done is so bad that he can't bounce back from it. And I believe my stupidity with a shovel and dirt and rocks could have been used by God, because I tell him when I wake up in the morning, here am I, Lord, use me in any way that you, and man, you gotta be, my mother always told me, be careful what you wish for, what you ask for, Robert, because you might just get it, and it ain't always good. I never would have met this doctor or his Jennifer, who I talked to on the phone, that made the appointment, and she's the one that came in and talked to us about money, and she's the one that does the laser. I wouldn't have met either one of them had I not come to them in pain. Now, you can say, well, why would God put you in that pain to go meet these people? You know what? Maybe they don't know God. Maybe they don't know their Creator. And we see the world we're living in, man, and what's going on a daily basis. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and it's becoming. This book right here is telling more truth day by day right now than any newspaper or news broadcast on the TV or even on that stuff you find on the internet. Do I believe God would put me through all that pain to meet somebody to make a difference in their life? Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. Because here I am. It's been a week now, right? Today's Thursday. It was Thursday when I did the dirt shoveling and stuff, and I'm feeling pretty good now. Don't get me wrong. I'm weak. There's only one trip. I'm going to go again tomorrow. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 8 weeks. And I'm fully convinced this is going to work. I will not need a scalpel. I won't need to be opened up again. That this is going to is going to work. I'm excited about as much about getting healthy and strong again as I am to find out what God's path and will and way is for these people that I've met here. So I'm sure over 8 weeks, 24 trips, while she's doing the laser, we're going to be talking about something. While he's hooks me up to the machine and gets it tuned in, now he's going to be a harder nut to crack because, you know, he wears the fancy clothes. You can tell he's from money. He's a chiropractor, a doctor of some type, right? And so, you know, they are on a different level than the rest of you and me, regular everyday folks, right? Wink, wink, wink. So, where does this leave us? Unfortunately, unless something changes, unless I get really strong and healthy and really good real fast, the wife won't let me drive a go-kart at Pittsburgh. She said, I told her, I said, well, I asked the girl in front of the wife. Of course, she sat in, and my wife sat in and everything because she doesn't trust me with the doctor. I said, is it only, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday? She said, we're only out here in this part of town. We're at the other offices Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday or whatever. So I said, well, end of September, I'm going to have to miss a Friday. Can we push it to, you know, can we just roll it over and, you know, I'll do my last trip here will be on a Monday instead of a Friday, so to make up for it since I'm paying for it, you know. And she said, oh yeah, we can work something out. Sherry's like, whoa, what do you mean? I said, well, that Friday, the 25th or whatever, we'll be at Pittsburgh. And she's like, oh, no. And I looked her right in the eye. I said, you telling me I can't race go-karts anymore? She said, I'm telling you, you aren't getting in a go-kart while you're still taking, you know, the therapy and the program. I said, so you're saying Daytona then? And she just got all disgusted with me, man. She's like, not me. I ain't going. I don't want nothing to do with no going back all the way, driving all the way down here and back again. Blah, 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 blah. So that's just that's the 30